is hit.
Hello tankers! So today we have a replay in the Tiger P. Tiger P is a Tier 7 German heavy tank. Take a look at the German tech tree. So we've got the Tiger P, and then at the same tier we've got the Tiger 1. There's also a Japanese premium, the heavy tank number 6, which is very similar to these. If we take a look at these three tanks in tanks.gg, so very similar looking tanks. So what's the difference between them? Well, the two German tanks are Tier 7 tanks. The Japanese tank is a Tier 6 tank, which means that it's obviously only going to see Tier 8 maximum matchups, whereas the other two are going to see Tier 9 matches. You'll see the main difference between the hulls of the Japanese and German Tiger 1 and the Tiger P, and that is, if you look at the frontal armor, we've got about 100 millimeters, if it's flat, of frontal armor on both the Japanese and the German Tiger 1. The Japanese has a big cupola, which is also pretty easy to hit, whereas the Tiger 1 German, that's a little smaller, so that's helpful. But basically the frontal armor on this is 100 millimeters. Side armor, 80 millimeters. Japanese, 80 millimeters. Tiger P, this upper plate is 200 millimeters. This upper plate, which is angled a little bit, is also 200 millimeters. So it's got an effective rating of somewhat higher because of the angling. And then the lower plate is 100 millimeters. So you get a much smaller target in the front. Now you also have these two side corners, which are angled slightly, but not enough, which are about 100 millimeters. The frustrating thing about side angled corners like that is that it makes it hard to side scrape, because if you turn sideways like this, that flattens this out, and now that really drops down to 80 millimeters. Even if we way over angle, that front corner is always going to be easily penetrated. So if you're driving the Tiger P, looking straight at your target may actually be the best approach, rather than trying to side scrape. Whereas if we take a look at the Tiger, it doesn't have that weak part on the ends. It can angle its armor a little bit here. Now it picks up anywhere from 10 to an extra 20 millimeters on the side. So side scraping can be useful in the Tiger 1. It's much less useful in the Tiger P, but it's mitigated by the fact that the Tiger P's got this nice solid 200 millimeters. Now let's take a look at them also in tank comparison. So here's the three tanks. We've got the Tiger P in the first column, the Tiger 1 in the second, and the Japanese heavy tank number 6 in the third column. So you see the two German ones are Tier 7, the Japanese is Tier 6. As you'd expect, the hit points on the Tier 6 are considerably smaller. The Tiger P has a slight disadvantage there with 50 hit points. The speed limits, they're all about the same. Tiger P is a little bit slower. Hull armor, again, the Tiger P's got that advantage of the 200 millimeters. Other than that, all three of them are exactly the same. So from a armor standpoint, the Japanese version has a advantage because it's never going to see tier 9 battles, whereas the highest tier battle it's going to see is a tier 8, and it can see tanks as low as tier 4. So obviously tier 4 tanks are going to have trouble penetrating this type of armor, whereas the 2 German tanks, the lowest that they'll see is a tier 5, and they can see tier 9s. The 2 German tanks basically have exactly the same penetrations and damage, and the Japanese tank has slightly less alpha damage on the 3 types of shells, and much less penetration. So, which makes sense. It's a lower tier tank. It's not going to see the tier 9s. But you're going to struggle more against tier 7s and tier 8s than the German tanks are, because you're losing a very large amount of penetration here. Even with the gold or the premium ammo, you're not going to get the penetration that you get on the German tanks. Tiger P has the worst DPM of the 3, but again, the low penetration on the Japanese Tiger means that even though you can, that's the potential damage you can get out, you're not going to penetrate every shot, and therefore you're probably not going to be able to pull off this effective damage per minute. So that's everything you really need to know about the Tiger P, this German heavy. I've been having a lot of fun in it. And so why don't we take a look at some gameplay. So we're in a matchup on Highway. XVM's got it rated at a 42% chance. Fairly close matchup. Both teams have a single tier 7 heavy and 5 tier 6 heavies. Each team also has 1 tier 5 heavy. So the heavy matchup is pretty close too. There's no arty on this match, which is always helpful when you're in a slow heavy. And as we saw in the comparison, the Tiger P is the slowest, only by 5 miles per hour max speed of the 3 Tiger tanks. So immediately I'm heading off towards the town area in the southeast corner, and I figure I'm going to go ahead and take out some of these buildings over here in case their mediums and tank destroyers come up here to try and capture. I don't want them to have that to hide behind. And so I drive through that building, and then I'm going to take a shot at this other building that they might try and sit behind. So I put one shot into that, and then the second one takes it out. Next, start pushing my way into the town. Always keeping an eye on the mini-map to get a feel. This map is one where very often you can tunnel vision and have the enemy team surprise cap you. I've lost this map a number of times to caps because we couldn't get back in time. So now I tend to pay close attention and get ready to rush back to support to defend the base. Coming up here, spot a T-67, trying to get a shot off on him, get one out. So one shot into the T-67. My heavies are much further ahead of me. See a T-34 crossing, fire one at him, take him out. My first kill of the game. First blood for the battle, actually. Third shot, put one in. The speed of the thing's beginning to be a problem on this. Is my tanks are already mixing it up with their heavies, and I'm still got a ways to go to get in there. Don't know what this M5's shooting at, but he unloads the clip. Now coming across here is always a little dangerous if they've got arty, if you get spotted, but they don't have any arty, so I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable. Come around this corner and I see a Tog down there. Ease out so I can put one in him. Now, the Tog's got a very fast reloading gun, so I don't want to sit out there. He fired just before I did, and then even as I was backing out, he managed to get one into me. So I'm not going to trade back and forth with a Tog from distance anyways. So I decided to back off and move in here. And as they come around the corner, spot this KV-85, put one into him, back up. My OI, he's more worried about my OI, so I can sit here easily and take him out. The OI finishes him off with a ram, which gives me time to turn my gun to this IS, put one in and track him. I've got him tracked with his gun behind the building, so I figure I can just go ahead and keep him tracked. He can't shoot at me because if he turns his gun, it's behind the building and he can't get me. So I keep hitting his track and doing damage. Someone takes out that Tog, so I'm happy I don't have to worry about him. And I come around the corner and find this T-150, put one into him. And he starts to back off, and I want to move in to put another one into him. Someone else takes him out, and I waste a shot into him. Now I'm moving into the KV-2, and it's been pretty busy. The scores are already 7-6. KV-2 is in serious trouble here. Come around the corner, put the last shot into him. Now I take a chance, take a breath, and look over and start thinking about our base. And notice that all our defenders in the northwest are dead now, and I'm concerned that they're going to cap. See 2 tank destroyers in the middle, and there were 3 other tanks in the northwest. So I start heading back over, thinking I'm going to defend the base, but then I notice 2 OIs sort of heading in that direction, and figure 2 OIs ought to be enough to defend the base, or at least do resets until we can get back. So I'm not 100% sure about it, but I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to let them do the defend, and I'm going to push forward towards the enemy base's enemy's cap circle. Now I'm almost getting into spotting range and where those last tank destroyers were spotted, so I'm going to pop up here and see if I can get a spot. Unfortunately, I don't think I have Sixth Sense on this, which makes me a little bit nervous as I'm doing things like this. But sure enough, I pop up, spot the Hellcat, put one into him. He disappears. So I drop back, figuring maybe he's spotted me. And my T-25-2 is moving forward to where he was last seen. I think I'm going to get another shot at him. Unfortunately for my T-25-2, he gets taken out by an SU-100Y. Hellcat apparently moved, maybe trying to get a shot at the T-25-2, so I get another spot at him. He makes a run for it. He's down at 4%. Give him a good lead. Take him out with my 3rd shot. So it's good to get rid of the Hellcat. He's got a dangerous gun. And now I'm moving forward. The OIs haven't spotted anyone. They're moving safely into the cap, so I'm feeling glad I didn't go to help them. And I start climbing up. Being the top tier of my heavies, I can understand my other heavies not wanting to be the ones to do the early spotting. I've also still got quite a bit of health. They were in there brawling a little bit. So I take the lead and start pushing up the hill here. I am glad to have the support of the 2 other heavies with me. Oh, I still haven't spotted anyone. Makes me start thinking that maybe those tanks in the northwest fell back to defend, and suddenly we spot the SU-100Y. Churchill puts one into him, and I try and get up high enough so I can drop one in. It's a very tall tank, so it's not easy to hide. And it looks like my shot actually did go into him. Put another one into him and drop back. Don't want to get hit by him. OI shows up too. Put one into him. And I lose the OI experimental that was here with me to a T25AT up above. Put another one towards the OI, and then one more and take him out. So now we're down by one. Chi-Ri shows up. I put one shot into him. Looks like someone took a shot at me, probably the Su-100Y. And then the T25AT drops one into me, so I figure I better put some pressure into him, but I got two tanks on my flank too. So I get behind this building to protect from those and start to move towards the T25. He's ducked away under cover though. And my OI takes that, one of the OIs that was at the base took out the Chi-Ri, so that's one less I have to worry about. And now I start harassing this VK. Unfortunately, the T25 takes advantage of my harassment there and drops one into the side of me. So now I'm into the unfortunate situation that the T25 can pop out and take shots at me if I shoot at the VK around the corner. VK starts shooting at my cover, so I drop back and say I don't want to deal with both of these tanks. I drop back to where the T25 can't shoot at me, and then I notice the Su-100. Put one into him. That makes him nervous, so he backs off and from the aiming at the OI. He turns to me, and I'm able to put one more into them. T25 doesn't like that I'm hiding underneath behind the building. He starts slowly taking out the cover. I put one into the VK, and my 200 millimeters of frontal armor bounces him. Take a quick shot, miss. He takes a quick shot, miss. So now I know I'm going to reload. Take a little more time, and I take him out. So now we've got the T25, and he's decided to come around from where I had been hiding, which but now he doesn't have any friends nearby, which means they can't double team me. I stick around the corner, take another hit, but I can reload before him, so I put another one in, back up. He's now down to a one shot, and unfortunately he puts one more into me. At this point I've got 380 health left, so I can take two more hits from the T25 without a problem. And then the OI takes out the T25's last friend. And I decide to wait here and not push the T25 until the OI comes in, so I get a little help. So I sit back and wait, see if the T25 is going to make a rush for me. And the OI starts moving forward. Keep my frontal armor behind the building, and just my side armor showing at an angle. I hope it's an automatic ricochet. OI gets close enough, so I decide, okay, now's the time to move forward. Normally you wouldn't want to go through the cap circle and give yourself away, but I'm pretty sure T25 knows exactly where I am, so I go straight through, moving forward towards him. Figure one of us is going to spot him. He is a one shot, so this should go pretty good. He takes a shot at the OI. Obviously that's a tall tank, so he must have been sticking out. Get the spot, finish him off. And that's basically it. Pull down. So we'll take a look at the post-game stats. This was a ace tanker battle in the Tiger P. It wasn't my first one, but it was definitely one of the best games I've played in it, if not the best game I've played in the Tiger P. Ended up being 5,914 damage. Being slow as I was, I only got 104 spotting or assistance damage. Got a mastery badge, a high caliber, Top Gun. So we took 34 shots, 28 of them hit, and 27 of those were penetrations. So the gun worked well when we hit our target, and we hit most of them. Did a total damage of 5,914. We blocked 350 damage, so our armor didn't get a chance to do too much. We did receive 9 hits, 8 of which penetrated. Made 65,000 credits after repairs and resupplies. I didn't use any gold on this battle. This was I received a base on a premium account of 2,970, which was the most I've received in this tank. So this was the best Tiger P game I've played. After my double, that's almost 6,000 experience, which is a pretty darn good experience. I was obviously top in damage. I did 4 times as much as the next person on the team, and top in experience. And as a nice little bonus, this game completed the HT2 point blank shooting personal mission. This was actually already completed, but this battle let me complete it with honors, so I got the secondary conditions and an extra 50,000 credits out of it. So there's my ace tanker in the Tiger P. Thanks for watching.